I've always wondered what the obsession with aesthetics is, and as somebody who used to follow a strict aesthetic code, um, I'm able to look back and just see how ridiculous I was as a little kid. And you know what? When you're a little kid, you're doing anything in your power to be cool, and I think that's why we see so much of the younger generation. I say that while I'm only 17, but why so much of the younger generation is so focused on appearance and makeup and skincare and things. And I don't think that's their fault at all. I think it's the image that social media forces them to have. So, this is a short little commentary of why I think aesthetics are stupid. So, I hope you enjoy. I'm Chloe. I go by Cloquette on here, and I hope you enjoy. Anyways, aesthetics center around every single thing that we do. Every single thing. And I'm aware it's because it's trendy or, it's eye catching, but the real reason why is because it sells and grabs people's attention in mainstream media in order to make a quick buck or profit. But I think aesthetics are just so degrading because it's all about making a specific image of yourself. And I think with social media, that's everything. Your image is everything. So everything nowadays is so peculiar. If I were to be a little kid and guess what the future would look like, I wouldn't guess this. But there's just so many aesthetics and so many variants. There's alternative and all those subcultures, and there's cottagecore and balletcore and grungecore, and there's so much. It's exhausting. And as someone who was growing up in the height of that era, I mean, it's ever growing, I never felt like I belonged anywhere. And it was all just so incredibly specific to one category that if I liked something else, it wasn't pretty enough or it wasn't cute enough. And I never felt accepted as myself. And especially growing up online and growing older in this, environment, I've realized that there's so much comparison and everybody's so strategic about how they're seen in their image that it's so incredibly fake and altered that of course we don't see themselves in these perfect Pinterest board images. And it tears us apart a little bit to not be that perfect cool girl or that mysterious boy. Like, there's just so much that's taken away with aesthetics. And I know this is, I wouldn't say it's a hot take, but I know it's a bit of a serious take over something as silly as aesthetics. But I feel like we've lost so much identity as people because of it. And of course people are going to get the crumbs left by like major corporations in order to make a name for themselves. And by that I mean influencers. Nothing wrong with being an influencer. In fact, I think it's honestly a really cool job, but your purpose is to sell things to people, garner an image of what's considered luxury and what's considered taboo. And I think it's just to gain something for themselves in that image. And with the rise of fast fashion, of course, everyone is going to fight over, oh, if you like this, you'll be a cool girl. Or, oh, if you do this, men will actually like you. Or if you do this, women will want to date you. And my mind first goes to performative males, like the matcha, etc. That's a whole other story, but I think with media, it's meant, people are so scared to be themselves for that, they're so desperate for approval and insecure, which, I mean, who wouldn't be, that they're willing to almost fake a personality in order to be seen a certain way to society, and everything's so chaotic nowadays that, I mean, of course you want to have this straightforward plan of how you're viewed by people, and, you know, a set path on what you're expected to do. And I think it's just so negative, and I believe people, specifically audiences, need to realize that it's for money. And I think in the 21st century, I always get those confused, I almost said 20th century. Within the 21st century, we've noticed a change in pace in fashion trends, and that's because everyone is fighting for relevancy. And I find it so comedic how much effort we put into our image nowadays. And I think, and I've said this before, but because the majority of our personal lives is put on the internet, our image is so incredibly important. And I think it's really sad. And I think the most important thing I've learned growing up is liking what I like. And, you know, I've really found myself. And I'm not saying I found all of myself, I'm still growing, but, you know, the coolest people I've met like what they like, and, you know, they're unapologetically themselves, and, you know, they're a collage of hobbies and interests that serve their souls, not their image, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know, I think aesthetics in a whole is so funny. Like, what do you mean if you don't like this, then you're immediately like cast out? Like, what in the high school clique? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's funny and an interesting topic to talk about. And seeing as this is a channel I'm starting just to kind of yap about, it's just something that's always been on my mind. So thank you.